We finally have sales data for the month of August, and what you're going to see with prices here might actually shock you. We've seen lots of changes in the market. However, prices is one of those things that is not really changing all that much. With that being said, we're going to jump into this here in just a minute. My name's Cody Steck, your favorite Utah realtor. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate anywhere here in the state of Utah, please reach out to me, call, text, or email. My team and I service the entire state, and we love it when you guys reach out from people who watch these videos and then want to buy, sell, or invest. We absolutely love helping you guys. We've had hundreds of people relocate here, hundreds of people from right here in our own backyard reach out to do the same thing. So please reach out to me. And with that said, let's jump into our video here. So taking a look at the sales data here for the month of August in Washington County. Right here, we've got this sales data. And this is coming from the WFR. So this is going to be August 2023, 139 home sales compared to July of last year at 136. Again, looking back here at summer of last year, July, we saw 117 sales and August was 151. So it's always normal to see a little bit of a drop in the month of July because we've got two holidays. We've got the 4th of July as well as the 24th of July, which is a state holiday. And you've got kids, that are out of school. People are on vacation. People are enjoying their time and they're not really shopping for homes. So it's pretty typical to see that home sales will drop during the month of July. And again, that's kind of what we saw here. Now, it wasn't that big of a change for July and August of this year, but it was slightly different. So taking a look at that, home sales are down pretty substantially. Over time, if we go back here to May, we're at 199, April 156, March 184. So the number of sales that is actually happening in the market is declining. Now, if we take a look at what's actually happening with prices, that's where we're really starting to see some very interesting information here. Right here is going to be your original listing price, $535,000, and this number right here is your actual sales price. So you've got your list price, and then you've got your sales price, which is what a buyer actually paid for the home. Taking a look at this, we saw a median list price of $535,000 with a sales price of $500,000. This means that on average, your average home sold for roughly 7% below what the asking price was. Now, this was largely caused by the run up in interest rates that we saw in July going into August. Anybody who purchased a home and closed on it in August actually purchased that home or at least put it under contract in the month of July, which is right when interest rates were running up. And I think that's why we saw such a big drop, right? Because as interest rates climb, people are now thinking, well, crap, I was going to pay $520 for this house. Now I can only pay $500 because my rate is now a 0.5% or 0.75% higher, and I need to get this home price down. And sellers are willing to budge on that. So we're starting to see a lot more of that here at this time. Now, if we take a look at the past couple of months, July, we had a median sales price of $490. June was $524. May, $499. April was actually an anomaly, a little bit higher here at $572. We saw a couple really high-priced home sales happen at that time, which pushed the number up. And then going back to March, we're at $512. So actually, over the last 6 months or so, we haven't seen prices budge all that much. We are going to see it fluctuate from month to month. We are going to see some changes there in the market. Even going back here to last year, June, we were at $612. We quickly dropped to $550, $536, down to $500. It was a pretty substantial drop from June into September, but then it jumped up substantially in October. So it's always fluctuating depending on what homes are out there in the market, what homes are for sale, and what is actually moving on the market. The important thing you have to look at is what is the general trend of these numbers. So if we actually look at what happened going into the winter months of last year, you can see we had 500, 569. Then we were to 555 in November. I think this is because there's a lot of people who are buying homes going into the winter months because they want a vacation home. They want a way to, they're snowbirds. They're trying to get out of Salt Lake City. They're trying to get out of Idaho or Wyoming or South Dakota or these northern states where it gets much colder, and they want to come to St. George to vacation. And so they're willing to buy homes. They're buying second homes or vacation homes in the area, and that's actually keeping those prices elevated during that time because they want to buy right before winter's starting. So I think that's why we've seen prices a little bit elevated here at 569. And of course here at 555. So after that, it actually falls off pretty substantially, right? December and January are always the slow months here in Utah. December, we saw a median sales price of $502. And look at this number right here, 87%. This means that your average home was listed at $575, but actually sold for 13% of a discount at $502,000. January was even lower. We saw listing prices come down and sales prices fell as well. So another $17,000 right here. So to see what's happening with last year, I think we're going to see something very similar over the next couple months. If interest rates continue to remain where they're at, unemployment doesn't change, and the inventory numbers don't change here in the state, I do think that we could see something similar. I think prices will probably be elevated or at least buoyed for at least the next couple months. But going into November, December, January, this could open up a lot of opportunity. If you're a buyer in this market, this might be the time that you want to start looking. Again, taking a look at what's happening in the market. If you're a seller in this market, you might want to get your home on the market right away, right? If you want to start having showings right now, try to get your home sold by October or November at the latest, because this is really going to be how you maximize your price. If you wait until December or January, just like we talked about here on my screen, you might be listing your home for $575 and it might sell for $502. There's no telling what that's going to actually be. There's a lot of factors that go into this, but if you're considering listing your home for sale now versus in 3 months, I would absolutely say do it right now and get it on the market. So with that said, let's jump in here and take a look at some inventory numbers. I want to show you this because this is very important, and then we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates and what's actually driving these factors here in this market. Really quick, guys, if you're watching this video, it's because you care about what's happening in St. George, whether it comes down to real estate market update videos like this or what it's actually like to live here, what the landscape looks like, these neighborhood tours that I do. If you're watching any videos of mine, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of people who watch these videos who are not yet subscribed. Just go down, scroll down a little bit, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified on new future videos that come out as I release them. It'd be a huge help for me, and it would also inform you of what's going on here in St. George. With that said, let's take a look at the active listings over the last 24 months. So if we take a look at this data, going back to 2021, September right here, over the last 24 months, this is the change that we've seen. We saw listings very, very low here, and you can see actually it's very interesting. The greenish, blue line or bar graph right here, we can see that listings actually dropped pretty substantially going into the winter of 2022. And this is actually when the average price per square foot started to climb at a very rapid pace, right? We were over here at like roughly 280, and then we started to climb all the way up to about 340. So as the inventory numbers dropped, that's actually when prices started to climb. We saw prices climbing here into 2022. Because there was just no inventory out there in the market. Then as inventory numbers start to climb, we actually start to see prices come down. Now there's a little bit of an anomaly here where that is not the case, generally speaking, but you can see just a little bump there, right? You can see that the number of active listings was just under 600 and then just over 600. And again, the price per square foot jumped up. Active listings in the market has actually been very, very steady over the last couple months. I mean, even going back to June of last year, we haven't really seen a huge change in the number of listings. We've been somewhere between, let's say, like 450 and 600 listings during that time. Now, that's pretty typical for this area. So we are, used to seeing that, but the fact that the number of active listings really hasn't changed since roughly February or March of this year is actually pretty substantial, and I think that's actually causing prices to remain where they're at. Prices have come down just a little bit. We did just talk about that early in the video, but so far prices have been very resilient despite what's happening with interest rates in the market. Now there are a lot of new construction properties out there in St. George, and a lot of this is driven by the construction industry that we've got here in St. George. When it comes to what's happening in the housing market, we have seen inventory numbers stay about where they're at. They're not climbing because people still have their jobs. People are still going to work every day. They're making paychecks, and they're able to keep making their payments on their house. They're able to keep paying the interest rate or the mortgage payment that they've got on that property, and they don't want to give that up, right? It doesn't make sense for them to sell their property to try and go buy something new at a higher interest rate, right? They're probably sitting on 2.5%, 3.5%, 4.5% interest rates. So why would they give that up to go buy a home at 7%? It just doesn't make sense. However, because people are still sitting in a situation where they've got their jobs, they're not being forced into a position where they have to sell their home, and this is actually causing prices to remain mostly flat over the last couple months. I do expect to see this change going into the next few months. I think that September, October, and maybe even the first half of November, prices will actually probably stay pretty flat from where they're at right now. But going into December or January, that could be the opportunity that's going to really open up. And that's when people are going to be shopping for a deal out there in the market. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. I can't wait to hear from you. If you've watched this video and found value in it, I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. My team and I service the entire state. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please reach out. My information is here on the screen. With that said, don't forget to subscribe before you go, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.